Hey, good morning. It's Joel Wolzman, CEO and Master Electrician of Jefferson Electric. Today is just one of my favorite kind of jobs. We have a variety of tasks we're performing for this customer. We've got a crew of 6 or 7 here today. The job values between $15,000 and $20,000. We're installing a span panel, which is my favorite smart panel, hands down. We are performing a service upgrade with utility coordinations. So right now, the house is completely de-energized. We have a suite of interior services that we're offering Karen, including some receptacle swaps, switch swaps, receptacle installs. That's where there presently is nothing in the wall. We're fishing wire and cutting in, replacing a few light fixtures, and if everything goes well, we could be in and out of here today. However, there's a good chance we'll trickle in tomorrow, and we've accounted for that in scheduling. The team started at 8 o'clock this morning. I'm excited to be part of the team today. Let's take a look at everything that's taken place, and we'll convey to you as much value and knowledge as possible. If you've got thoughts, drop them in the comments because we're learning every day. And put a timestamp and some specificity to your thoughts. Would love to engage with you there. Thanks. Let's take a look. Obviously, batteries play an important role in the Jefferson Electric ecosystem. We believe they're more reliable than a generator. We can operate them indoors, they're quiet, they're easy to handle and manage, there are no moving or serviceable parts, and we have a stash that are in the shop. When we walk in, we grab one off the shelf, it's plugged into a dedicated 20 amp circuit, and it's always charged up to 100%. Let me show you a new battery I'm pulling out of my pocket today. I'm about to march this inside and give it to the customer as a courtesy, as we've got their power offline for the next 5 to 8 hours. This is the Ampace Andes P600 Pro. Let's see what it can do. Advertisements and QR codes there, the after sale card, cool. Keep digging. A nice, brief product manual, not bad. Usually these things are ready to go right out of the box and are extremely intuitive, so I don't have any worries about that presently. Ooh, a satchel. I love it when they provide some kind of durable portable satchel to contain the cord. There's a power cord for charging the unit, and here is a cord for charging it off 12 volt DC. That would apply to fill in the battery off your motorhome or something of that nature, so that when you hit the campsite, it's fully ready to go. Nice foam packaging. Oh, here it is. Okay, now this is a nice size here. This is a nice size. This is very portable and lightweight. Definitely a one-hand jobby right there. Just about what I use at the gym. Ah, perfect. Skinny guy like me can't do too much more than that. I like it. Screen protector, car socket. Here's my 12 volt stuff. USB-C, USB-A. 2 power outlets. Let's see what it comes charged at. Press and hold this. 19%. Ooh, it's got a light. Multifunction. Low, high, strobing. That looks like a SOS to me. So 4-position light. Airflow for ventilation. Okay, that's where my 12 volt plugs in. There's my reset if I overload it, and that's my AC input to charge the battery. I like having the QR codes at the ready so you can easily access the app to interface with the Ampace Andes P600 Pro. It glows when the battery's on. I like that. This battery weighs 16.8 pounds. It has 584 watt hours. It is app controlled, UL listed. This is a pure sine wave inverter. That's one thing you won't get from a generator. Generators have notoriously dirty power, but this pure sine wave inverter won't damage any sensitive electronics and will give you clean power. It's not gonna buck or trip any devices down the line. The surge capacity of this unit is 1800 watts at 120 volts, 60 hertz. That's pretty gorgeous, but it's also UK, EU, and AU compatible on the 50 hertz, 220, 240 volt system. That's cool to me. The Ampace is a LiFePO4 hybrid system with 2,000 cycles of overall capacity. That's the same as a high quality power tool with a lithium battery. It has over voltage protection, over load protection, over temperature, short circuit, low temperature, high temperature, low voltage, and over current protection. Basically, this thing will shut down if there's anything hazardous at play. I'll tell you a quick story. A storm swept through Indianapolis 2 weeks ago, and 60,000 AES customers were without power. Our neighbor 2 doors down has sleep apnea, so he's got a CPAP machine, and I literally walked a portable battery over to him, dropped it off to operate his CPAP. They were without power for a week and a half, which personally affects him quite deeply. This Ampace battery has a cool mode called sleep mode, where all the ambient lights shut off, the LCD screen that's illuminated shuts off, the fan speed slows down, and effectively you could have it right next to your bed without disrupting a good night's sleep while powering critical appliances that either pertain to your food, health, safety, or security. That's pretty significant, and that happened right here in a metro city with over 1 million people. 57 minutes for a full charge. We're at 20% and cranking 486 watts input. We'll have this prepped for the customer in no time, provide them with energy convenience while we upgrade their service. That's just part of Jefferson Electric. Because coming off the pole, we're gonna want it to clear 13.6 out here in the yard. So I'd say you could probably take it up all the way. Yeah, just take that pipe up a little higher.
Yeah, it's already done. Let's go grab another. We'll send Joel.
Oh, bro, that's Donnie on one side and Donnie on the other.
Dude, it'll probably work, especially if you get that little heated blanket. I'll make it longer.
Yeah.
Probably breaks the rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll heat it up with a torch. I'll get it a little longer. It might be holy.
Beautiful, beautiful. One of the essential processes at Jefferson Electric is we believe in QVR. That is quality, value, review. So every estimate that goes out the door gets a peer review before it goes out. And everything that deviates from the day-to-day norm gets qualified. So quality, that's like, is it complete and accurate? The estimate, the associated labor projection, the materials, is the entirety of it accurate? Value, have we maximized the offering to the customer to deliver maximum value to the customer, and have we delivered maximum value to Jefferson Electric in how we've constructed the proposal? For instance, you could have an overly complicated design that maybe doesn't align with ultimate customer objectives. It's like, yeah, that could work, and we can do that, and that's a feasible reality in the world we live in, but actually you potentially have added $2,000 worth of cost that is out of alignment with the customer objectives. So let's rework this. We do some complicated projects that have smart technologies, that have renewable energy integrations, energy storage, just layers and layers of emerging technology. And each one of those pieces of tech has minimums, maximums, limitations, and considerations of all type. Sometimes you have the inability to integrate seemingly compatible systems, and you've got to be very attentive. So quality, value, review, that's a peer review. We believe in accountability across the board. I'm accountable to our core values. I'm accountable to our processes. We need to commit to an easily repeatable process and have a QVR because it's more cost effective to catch a mistake in the office before it hits the field. And regardless of how good you are, if you're putting together 10, 20, 40, 80, $150,000 proposals for home renewable energy systems, at some point, you're gonna have a minor flaw in the ointment. There's gonna be a fly in your ointment, and a peer review. It's hard to construct those systems from scratch. It's a very technical process. QVR, I recommend it to you for your electrical contracting business. And we've got a workflow that helps with the consistency of that. So all the estimates are visible, and we can see who created the estimate, who QVR'd the estimate, and when it went out the door. All of that's entirely visible. Visibility is a component of accountability, and accountability is an essential organizational infrastructural element for every business. Electrical, solar energy contracting, and everybody else too. Before we check out the job site in more detail, let me tell you about one thing I'm really excited about. It's gonna make me better, it's gonna make you better, and it's EPro for Masters. Check the description. Right at the top, you'll see a link. Simple form, fill it out, I'll give you a call. If it's a fit, we're rocking and rolling, and you're in the cohort of guys like you and like me who are solving real world problems on their businesses and jobs like this every single day. If you're intimidated, if your experience of business is like mine, blood, sweat, and tears, you don't have to do it alone. There's help and support from business owners who are learning to take their business wherever it is today to the next level and beyond. So we can take more home, so we can provide more value to our community and our employees, and everybody wins. EPro for masters, for you and for me. Want a piece of tape off? There we go. I take it back. There it goes. I had to click the button. Output 355 is what this fridge is taking. Boom! There you go, Karen. Fridge is on. Touching base on the project, we like to have a little fun at Jefferson Electric. The guys are looking pretty good. I asked the question, what's the chance we finish today? And I got a 85%, it's possible. And I said, all right, lunch tomorrow on the company if we finish today. And that just, it changes the dynamic of how people think and work, right? It changes the game we play. One, I want to buy the guys lunch anyways. Two, it gamifies it and it kind of brings the energy up. This is a Thursday, so how many of us feel a little sluggish on a Thursday at times, right? Let's just get across the finish line. Let's make it happen. This is teamwork, dreamwork right here. So back to the job. This meter cabinet is required to be more than 3 feet off doors and windows, operable windows. So the guys have relocated the meter cabinet, new penetration through softening the roof. The roofers are going to patch the hole in the roof, and we're installing a 200 amp exterior disconnect as required by code because our panel is more than a nominal distance inside the structure. Indiana's still in the 2008, codes are a little different here, there, based upon what cycle, the interpretation, and the enforcement of that code. So Porphy's making it happen. Donovan's helping him out. Looking good, looking good. We're on track out here. Let's touch base with the other guys on their projects and take a little peek in the crawl space as well. The electrical service is on the outside of the structure right here. Wiring through the crawl space, and this is where the span panel will be located. All the circuits have been ID'd. We're leaving it open while we pull some of the new circuits into the panel. This is where the magic happens. This is going to be the primary thing that the customer gets to touch, taste, and feel at the end of the job. Span is a beautiful system. If you're unfamiliar with the smartest of smart panels on the market, that's leading the energy revolution as the central piece of energy infrastructure for the modern home. Check the description. We have a link to tell you more about Span. Jefferson Electric is the certified Span installer for the state of Indiana and nearby territories. We're in the garage. Let me deviate from telling you what we're doing real quick to tell you one of the biggest mistakes that service companies and contractors make. Customer calls them up and says, hey, I need you to come fix X, Y, Z. Contractor walks in, prices it up, and fixes X, Y, Z. End of the conversation. End of the job. End of the money. You know what's terribly wrong with that? The customer doesn't know what's wrong in their home. They don't know that the code cycle updated every 3 years. They don't know that there have been new adoptions and amendments in the state that you're located. They don't have this information. They don't know these things. They need to be informed and educated by you. One of my favorite plumbers says this, ma'am or sir, would you mind if we just do a walkthrough of your home with Dave the plumber? And I could tell you what observations I make along the way, just to make sure everything's in good condition, safe, and up to the present standard. Would that be okay with you? And he's so fatherly, he's so trustworthy, and he's so gentle that you know what the homeowner says? Yeah, let's do a quick walkthrough. That sounds like a great idea. You tell me what you see, Dave. Dave says, that's great. After 30 years of being in the trade, I've seen quite a bit. And they have a walkthrough. And Dave uncovers not just X, Y, and Z that the customer is thinking about. He uncovers A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And you know what the homeowner says? That's great, Dave. I don't think I can afford all that today, but in your opinion, what would be the most valuable thing for us to address right away? And Dave says, well, if it were my home, I would do C, D, and G right away, and I wouldn't let that lag for these reasons. Homeowner says, Dave, I trust you, let's do it. And that's the customer called you for X, Y, and Z, and you sold B, C, D, E, F, and G, either now or down the road. That's brilliant. And you know what? This is almost everyone in America's primary investment. Their personal dwelling. It's their primary investment. And what you're going to tell them as a trusted advisor a professional in your industry, whatever craft you work, what you're going to tell them is this. Here's the information you need to make an informed decision. And that's the same thing your healthcare provider says to you, right? I recommend a GI scope. I recommend you're this age, you're that age. Here are the protocols. Here are the standards. You wouldn't have known necessarily to ask for a calcium, scan of your heart, but your provider should tell you that. And if you're a contractor, you should tell your homeowner that. Let's check it out. Here in the garage, we upgraded the furnace switch because that was old and dilapidated. Over to my left here, Randy is installing a pass-through J-box to get an exterior outlet here. We're on slabs, so we've got some limitations, both in and out. So this pass-through J-box that's going to be mounted here is going to facilitate the installation of an outdoor GFCI receptacle at the customer's pleasure by the front porch. Over here, we've got a NEMA 1450 going in. Let me tell you what, if you're sick and tired of cramming NEMA 1450 outlets into little 4-square J-boxes, don't do it anymore. This is the product you're looking for. Look, it's got the massive KOs on the side. They go 1 inch through 2 inch. It's got 1/2 to 1.25 inch top and bottom. It's got a ground screw with 2 additional terminals for grounding, and you can easily mount your NEMA 1450 in surface applications without cramming and jamming. You need that to improve your install. EVs and the adoption of EVs are probably the single most significant and common adjustment to the American infrastructure in America that will surpass solar batteries and all kinds of other applications. If you're not doing EV charging, get certified today. Add $1,000 to every third customer that you serve, and let's generate some additional revenues and embrace the modern infrastructure that most Americans are willing to consider today. It's not even 11:30 a.m. AES is already back to reconnect power to the home. The guys are cranking out back. See, what we prioritize is having completed power to the disconnect so we can get it re-energized, and then when we're ready on our time, that power is into the home, panels landed, then we can energize the rest of the home. Well, we've got to make sure we don't get caught behind the 8 ball with utility restrictions. Looks like we might be getting lunch tomorrow. So Randy, I'm about to jump into this electrical panel and get this span installed.
Okay.
You took it apart for us.
Right.
How long you been in the trade?
33 years now.
33.
Yeah.
A little longer than I've been alive. No, just kidding. What's your system for the deconstruction of a panel to make sure we get it back right?
Well, first thing I do is take wire markers and mark each wire starting at 1, 2, 3, 4 down the left side and continue on down the right side.
Beautiful.
And then I take a picture of the existing stuff, the label of the old panel, and translate it onto a piece of paper. So when I hook it back up, I just find whichever place is number 1, I can remark it into the new panel.
Nice.
Just makes it a whole lot easier.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm ready to rock. This is what a valuable employee looks like. Show me your neck right there.
I don't know. That's what you want to look at. But.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'd say just get some Camden B-roll right there. That's Camden. That's Yo America. That's what you call job security. 125 degrees up there. Camden Holiday. Job security. Mr. Job Security. That's jobs. There are not enough people willing to do dirty jobs, and you have a top performer who would just do anything and everything that's needed to get the job done for person after person, homeowner after homeowner. Thank you. I hear action. I'm moving the wires.
I can push it up with the SDR.
I'm looking. Okay, I think I see you. I'm gonna reach down the wall here. There it is. Okay. Hang tight. I might have enough. I don't know which. Up there. There we go. That was part of the problem.
Is that good?
Good. I've got a spare 2 feet up here if you want to pull that back. Boom. Got it. Let's check one more thing. Make sure this stud bay is a true 14.5 or 16 on center. You're kidding me. 13 3/8. Dang. Dang. That is not entirely uncommon in an older home. That 13.5 ain't gonna work, bro. That adds a lot of work. That's a lot of work. All right, so the thing that we want to determine up here is to make sure before we cut that corner and accommodate the span panel that there aren't any major structural elements that are resting on that wall. And I'm happy to see that the joist span is consistent across here and it's continuous. There's not a second story, there's not a point load, there's this little 2x2 and rafter span, but that's actually back 14 inches and on the other wall. So that's where the main panel is located downstairs. You can see the home run circuits coming out. In fact, there are some stray wires here that are no longer in use that'll get yoinked. There's 1, 2, there's a third there. Okay, get that finalized. So we're in good shape. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that corner back to the 14.5 that we need. The only thing that's not in great shape is the temperature up here. It's about 132 degrees, maybe more. Hopefully I'm the first YouTuber to install a span panel upside down. I'm gonna tell you, here's what you need to know about installing electrical panels upside down. 1, if they're NEMA 3R, that's outdoor rating, and you put it upside down, they're no longer rain tight. So that would be a violation. 2, all breakers need to be up in the on position, off in the down position, or operate side to side. You cannot take a breaker that's up in the on position and invert it such that down is now on. That'd be code violation number 2. Number 3, and this is a universal overarching, 110.3b. Everything electrical has to be installed according to its listing, rating, etc., which means you've got to respect how the manufacturer has stated the installation of that panel or other piece of equipment must be installed, because that correlates directly to how it was tested by Underwriter Laboratories and other testing agencies. So those are the big 3 things to consider if you're installing a panel in this orientation or that orientation, or possibly even horizontally. Now I'm about to cut open the wall. I've double checked my measurements. I've got a trim kit that will be installed and will beautify the perimeter of my cut. So I'm intentionally, according to the span guidelines, going to install the panel, cut the opening with an extra 1/2 inch all the way around to make installation easier. It's nothing to it but get started. I've also closed that door, so I no longer have an air tunnel through here that's going to catch the dust and blow it all around the room. I want that dust to drop to the floor where I can vac it up so we don't have it all over this pantry. Now I've got to expand my markings to open my hole up that additional 1.5 inches from face of stud, because I'm going to cut this stud out because this is a beefy corner that already has, let's see, 3.5, already has 2 more studs in here. Can almost guarantee that without a point load on this corner. So I'm going to use my folding ruler as a straight edge. This is a fiberglass non-conductive. If you are an electrician, I highly recommend this tool to you. Milwaukee makes this one. I'll drop a link to Amazon in the description. You can buy one and help out our growing channel. The more money we make, the more videos we make. Isn't that how things work? Okay, now this is where it gets a little tricky. See, the other side of this wall, we have a bathroom. And if I just yank that stud out, there could be a fastener holding the drywall to this particular stud. I rip that baby free, I could leave a big hole on the other side of the wall. So I'm going to just slip the oscillator blade in there and see if there's something I can find. Cut free. Finish off the cut in the 2x4 top and bottom, and I hope I don't cause any damage to the other side of this wall. That was good. Let's see what it did to the other side of the wall. I'm curious. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to finish cutting out this stud. If it just falls out, I'll know there are no more fasteners. But if it doesn't, I'll have maybe a little bit more wiggle room to get the blade in there. Okay, I'm almost sure there's another fastener. There it is. Okay, now it's just a tiny little fiber of wood at the top. Oops, sorry. There it is. There it is. Huffing and puffing.
Yeah, I just took off this old light fixture from there, and we're gonna replace 2 of them back here with some new ones, and then a 3rd one up at the front porch. So the new ones, real nice and pretty, like this.
This here is an old, crusty light fixture. Nobody wants this, right? This looks bad for their house. That, on the other hand, is a new, sleek fixture that will really make your front porch pop.
We're pulling 6-wire for our EV charger for our span panel. Hey, brother, are you ready to pull? I can't feed this thing for nothing.
Alright, here's what we got left.
That's fine. Any of that stuff.
Okay, let me set this down. All right, here's what we got left, right? We got sump pump outlet to put in because there's standing water in the crawl space. We got a weatherproof outlet to put here. We got one on the front porch. We have an outlet put in some outside lights back here. I put in one in the front. And then all we got left is landing the panel after everyone kind of finished up their little ancillary tasks.
Just pulled a 3-inch galvanized U-bolt out of my bag. It does not belong in there. You know what? I bet that's from when we did the solar panels on top of a billboard. If you haven't seen that video, check here. Okay, let's work together to get this organized in the manner that we see fit. That is going to come in the center, and that's bottom.
Yep.
There. So this, let's pull this one to the right. Stretch it a little tighter, maybe. That's the thing about electrical tape. It stretches, so you can get a really tight fit on your wire. Keep things from pulling apart. That's like, and it's non-conductive. Those are the 2 most beautiful aspects.
All right.
Okay. All right, Sam, take it easy.
Get a hand on the wire. There we go. I got it. Thank God.
So Camden, you're gonna hold this side, top side, sorry. We'll tip it down towards you. Do it like, there we go. Forfy, you're gonna hold the bottom side. We're gonna walk it towards the door a little bit so we can get on the lee side of this SCR a little further. And I apologize, I need to open those screws up a little bit. Look, 3, 2, 1, 6 seconds. You can't hold that for 6 seconds. Span panel is 75 pounds. 200 amp rated breaker. Squarity home line. Anything.
Let's turn it this way.
Yep. Anything down to 100, 125, 150, 175, 200. It's a multi-compatible. It's pretty cool. In addition to that, it's got a 225 amp rated bus, which if you don't do renewables, that might not mean much to you. However, it's very valuable when you have secondary sources of power input. It's very valuable. It's NEMA 3R rated. It might actually have a slightly higher rating, but it's at least 3R. We have, the span's a little beefy to work with. Like the install time's not bad, but it's a little bit more than a regular panel, for sure. And we charge a little bit more too, right? The tech costs something. Thanks, Porfy. Got those, it's coming through. All right, let's get the other side. Now you could do this with 2 guys. It'd be next to hell with 1 guy. But sure is comfortable having 3. Got some spare connectors for future growth because it's really hard to drill this out. There are no knockouts in the span panel. They're all drill outs. I'm quick to cut here. Just like my wife's obstetrician who took her into surgery with our 4th child, Mendez. She's quick to cut. Camden's like, I don't even have a girlfriend, man. I can't be talking about this stuff.
Hey, we can't put that on the YouTube.
Yeah, that's gonna be censored information.
There'll be too many views.
I'm opening this up 2.5 inches so we can get the wires in the top of the panel because we've got a flush trim kit that's gonna circumference this. It's a total of 5 inches larger than the panel itself, so we've split the difference and we're going to use that space to fit this in. So, and then here's one little component I think every electrician needs on their truck. We're gonna need it on this job. It's something you may not have thought of, but go out and buy you a 6-pack. And it's not Bud Light, it's magic eraser for cleaning up the wall when you're done scuffing it up and getting your dirty paws all over it.
So where are we putting that surge suppressor?
It's a good question. I'm skeptical about above, and I think we need to put it below because we've got that blocking above that I don't think we'll have the depth we need in the wall. So I think we put it low, and it might even be a little more out of sight that way. Just less visibly intrusive.
Yes.
You okay with that? So I was picturing a Lennox hole saw, because the Lennox you can remove the mandrel, but the Spider, the mandrel is one piece with the shaft. So I'm gonna have to offset my hole slightly to the right so I don't punch through the opposite side of the wall because I can't remove the mandrel. So that's the tenuous aspect of this situation. You can pound as hard as you want on the right, just be real careful on the left, but I think it's probably the wood fibers on the right that we're gonna. I'm gonna go make a call. Camden's gonna lace in this panel, make a beautiful Camden. And then before everybody leaves, we'll have a span talkathon while we've got it in front of us, because I think there are a few people who need some span orientation. You've done span before?
Many times.
Many a times. I thought you had. It's all yours.
I'm installing a non-metallic seal type male adapter to the bottom of the span panel to ensure that the wires don't get scraped on the sharp metal, so that way I can install a 1450 surge protector.
Gotta seat it all the way in.
Which pin format did you use?
B, we use B.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, so let's get it lined up here. We might need to tighten up the clasps. You can tighten the screws top and bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is that
Thanks.
pulling out so
Out.
much?
Somebody step back.
3, 2, 1. Always anticlimactic. Typically anticlimactic. Mostly, often anticlimactic.
6. That's awesome. You
Gonna-
should have been 3, 2, 1 in on that.
In a residence, this is the preferred manner for energizing power after a long day. Hit the main with all the breakers in the off position. Then go through and turn them on gradually so that you don't overload the system. Under some circumstances, you could have a lot of inrush current from like multiple air conditioners kicking on at the same time, and you could run into a bit of an issue. That's a healthier process. Like the general concept is, could you stomp on your brakes driving on the interstate at 70 miles an hour? Yes, of course, that's what it's there for. However, if you make it a habit of that and you intentionally abuse the system, that's unwise. Same thing with electrical work. It's a matter of what's it designed for, repeatedly without failure. Just treat it gently. You may have heard me say it before. At Jefferson Electric, we're turning every truck in our fleet into $1 million truck. What do I mean by that? That means that truck with 2 technicians, an apprentice and an electrician, is going to turn $1 million of gross revenue per year through work like this, the lights, receptacles, dimmers, span, advanced technology, keeping our heads down, bonusing and incentivizing our employees, $1 million truck, support from the warehouse team, just-in-time on-site deliveries, permits as a profit center. Man, it is turning over the full deal. That means on average, our goal is to produce $2,083.33 of gross revenue per man per working day, and to give that technician 2 weeks of paid vacation, as well as a bonus from the revenue of their truck. First, you've got to be able to measure the production of that truck independently, and then you've got to have a plan in place that's known and clear to incentivize that employee to maximize their productivity. I'm super excited. The team's getting rallied. We don't have all the measurements in place yet, so the bonus for today is lunch tomorrow. They earned it. We did it. We actually exceeded the $1 million truck goal today by 10%. That's a win. Hey, here's a pro tip. If you're in conflict with your customer, you probably forgot to make your estimate, your communication in some fashion, whether it's an email or whatever you do to the customer, you probably forgot to make it smart. What do I mean by that? Specific measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. See, if you forgot to be specific, you may have forgotten to specify whose responsibility the repair of the soffit was when you relocated the service connection. And side note, minimum expansion foam. We've had to cut this baby off like 3 times today. Minimum expansion foam. Don't use the standard stuff if you're an electrician. Standard stuff is excessive unless you need it for your project. Measurable, right? Estimates should be measurable. You give them an exact dollar value and you perform to that dollar value. It takes skill, experience, and practice, but it's going to keep you out of hot water. Coming in too low can be a problem and giving money away. Coming in too high can be extremely frustrating and hurt you in every way. Attainable, right? You've got high and lofty goals. If you're me, you're an undying optimist, and this is actually one place I've hurt myself in business. I've been overly optimistic. I've wanted to please the customer, and I've actually self-defeated by giving them a expectation that may not have been attainable or realistic. And then time-bound, right? This is huge. Wishy-washy words all the time. Customer says, I need you out soon. Can you get it done soon? Contractor says, I can get it done soon. This is peak season for the contractor. They know what soon means to them, and they're like, within 3 weeks, baby, we are outperforming the competition. Customers, when they call like day before leaving on vacation, they said, you're gonna be out soon. I just realized you haven't been out yet. I'm gonna be out of the country for 3 weeks. I had to get this done. When we get back in the country, it's my daughter's wedding. We're hosting it at our house, this beautiful home, and the work's not done. And I can't have you here when I'm not here. Like, guys, this kind of stuff really happens. Soon means one thing to one person, one thing to another person. Time bound. You have to be specific with the time limitation. So smarts. Every communication to the customer, just stick it on a post-it note on your computer. Smart, smart, smart. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Time bound or time related. Every time, all the time. And you'll stay out of hot water and you'll earn those reviews you're looking for. Be smart about it. I want to say thanks to Ampace for sponsoring this video and powering our customer for the day. I want to call you if you own an electric company. Check the description or reach out and join the mastermind. If you live in the city of Indianapolis, you're probably either a customer or a job candidate. I'd love for you to reach out and join our growing team and subscribe to Electric Pro Academy for real skills to make real money.